Right friends, welcome back to Q&A discussion. This is 4th session and some of the questions you may find easy today. Look at the first one. Which of the following is incorrectly matched? White fly. White fly is the disease pertaining to cotton. In fact, last year there was news report that several farmers in Punjab area were affected because of white fly. There is a pink bollworm disease. This also pertains to cotton. So, the incorrect option is this pink bollworm disease, and the next one is white stem borer. This affects coffee, and last year these two are into the news. Bacterial leaf blight, this affects rice. So, these 4 diseases were prominently in the news during 2016. Because the respective crops are affected, even the BT cotton could not give the, or you can say BT cotton could not give resistance to this bollworm disease. So, this white fly, Punjab farmers were affected, pink bollworm both belongs to cotton, white stem borer coffee, and bacterial leaf blight rice. Next one, which of the following organization is wrongly matched? World Investment Report with regard to FDI flows into the country. That report is given by United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, or UNCTAD. United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. Ease of doing business is given by World Bank. Then Human Development Index, UNDP. Global Competitiveness Index is given by World Economic Forum. And globally, the World Economic Outlook, that is released by International Monetary Fund, that also please do not forget. Global, or you can say World Economic Outlook, is released by International Monetary Fund or IMF. So, these type of reports are important from examination perspective. Which of the following is meant for development of market economies primarily in East European countries, which subsequently extended to Central Europe and Central Asia? This is European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. It is London based. I think some of you may not know it. European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, it was established somewhere in 1991 or so, basically to develop market economies in the prior to socialist or communist countries, what you call, right. So, to develop market economies in East European countries, and at the same time subsequently it is extended to Central Europe and Central Asia, and the organization meant for it is EBRD, London based organization, multilateral lending organization, which was exclusively established for that purpose. Next one is Scheme for Sustainable Structuring of Stressed Assets, famously known as S4A, is into the news during the year. Scheme for Sustainable Structuring of Stressed Assets is in the news recently, and read the following sentences in this context. The first sentence is, under S4A, the debt, suppose I have taken 100 crores of debt from bank, I have taken 100 crores. I am a company, I am running a company, then that debt will be bifurcated into sustainable and unsustainable. Sustainable debt should be minimum 50%, and I have to service the debt only for that sustainable debt portion. So, the debt will be bifurcated into sustainable and unsustainable, and I have to service the loan only on the sustainable debt, and sustainable debt should be minimum 50% of the total debt. Then second condition is, the project must be in operation and the project must be generating the cash. This is second important condition, and third condition is, it is applicable when the aggregate exposure of all the lenders in the account is more than 500 crore. So, S4A is applicable when the aggregate exposure is more than 500 crore. So, 1 and 2 are correct and third one is wrong. This is about S4A. So, during the year certain important aspects, do not forget S4A in the banking sector, as well as the second one is strategic debt restructuring or SDR, that is also very important. So, in S4A the debt is bifurcated into sustainable and unsustainable. Sustainable debt should be minimum 50%, right. The next one is, look at the following financial institutions. Out of these three financial institutions, which of the following are regulated by IRDAI? So, whenever insurance component is there, they are regulated by IRDAI. This Export-Import Bank, this is basically to promote exports and imports, and financial assistance and other logistical assistance will be provided by Exim Bank. It is a refinance institution. So, Exim Bank is to promote exports, and here Exim Bank is technically under the control of Reserve Bank of India. Exim Bank technically under the control of Reserve Bank of India. Then Export Credit Guarantee Corporation or ECGC. Export Credit Guarantee Corporation looks at the risks associated with exports, as it is associated with the risks associated with exports, that is some form of insurance. So, this is regulated by IRDAI, and at the same time Agriculture Insurance Company of India Limited, that is also regulated by IRDAI. Then look at the following. Agricultural and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority, this APEDA, this looks at the exports, promotion of agricultural processed foods. Agri-processed foods promotion is looked after by APEDA. APEDA is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, that is important. And please do not forget, yesterday government announced or Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs cleared Sampada. So, that is one important flagship program of government. Yesterday it was announced Sampada. Please go through that news article, right. And the next one is Employees Provident Fund Organization or EPFO. EPFO is under the Ministry of Labour and Employment. So, this is wrong. Quite often you hear about Employees Provident Fund Organization. This is to look at the Provident Fund or the future needs of the employees. This is under the Ministry of Labour and Employment. Then Department of Investment and Public Asset Management or DIPAM. DIPAM department is under the Ministry of Finance. The basic purpose is to look at the public sector enterprises, whether it is minority stake sale or you can say disinvestment. With regard to disinvestment, the department which looks at is Department of Investment and Public Asset Management of Public Sector Enterprises, and this is under the Ministry of Finance. So, this is also wrong. First one is correct. Look at the next one, Unique Identification Authority of India. Please do not forget about Aadhaar Act of 2016. After Aadhaar Act, now it got a statutory status now. So, UIDAI got a statutory status, and this is under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Initially, when UIDAI was started, it was started as an attached office with Planning Commission. Now it got statutory status, and now it is under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Look at the next one, banks participate in call money market in our country. Banks participate in call money market. So, call money market means banks, if one bank require some money from other bank, there are several mechanisms. Banks can borrow from Reserve Bank of India under repo. Banks can borrow from Reserve Bank of India under marginal standing facility. At the same time, after that limit is exhausted, or if banks can get short term loans or call market or call money from other bank at cheaper rates, banks can borrow from other bank also. So, these are known as call money transactions. So, call money transactions are primarily to take care of temporary mismatches of funds in day-to-day working. So, temporary mismatches of funds in day-to-day working and call money market participation is also required, as banks are required to maintain CRR and SLR stipulations. If I am not wrong, CRR is 4%. SLR is 20.5%. So, CRR and SLR stipulations are to be maintained. So, at the end of every day, banks have to look at SLR and CRR. So, to look at it, they will participate in call money transactions. So, here C is the right option. Government securities are also known as gilt-edged securities. Government, when it is issuing security, when it is issuing bond, you can say, when government is issuing bonds, you call them normally government securities, and they are due to sovereign guarantee. These are known as gilt-edged securities. What is the reason for it? Gilt-edged securities we call because of the sovereign guarantee by Government of India and highest security with the least risk, highest security, and sovereign guarantee is given by Government of India. Because of these reasons, they are known as gilt-edged securities. Look into the next one. 4 financial institutions are given here. Which of the above are refinance institutions? Please do not forget, we learnt about fund of funds. What is fund of funds? Fund of funds basically investing in some alternate investment funds, and subsequently they will invest in startups. Similarly, in the banking sector, in the financial sector, you can say refinance institutions, they finance to some intermediary, subsequently consumer will get or customer can get from the intermediary. So, here NABARD may arrange loans to SBI, low cost finance to SBI, subsequently SBI will pass on the benefit to the customer. So, all the financial institutions stated here, they are refinance institutions. NABARD, it is a refinance institution, basically looking at agriculture and rural development. Exim Bank to look at exports and imports. Then SIDB is to look at the development of MSMEs. Mudra Bank is to look at micro and small enterprises, but these are refinance institutions, please do not forget. Strategic debt restructuring, this is very important. SDR, in addition to S4A in 2016, they assumed a lot of significance because of high non-performing assets in the banking system, especially public sector banks. What is SDR? SDR is meant for taking management control of a defaulting company. If the company is not paying back, that debt can be converted to equity, and subsequently the management control can be taken over, right. So, that is strategic debt restructuring. So, banks have given the loan and the company is not paying back, then banks can assume management control by converting debt into equity. Then this is correct. Constitution of Joint Lenders Forum. Joint Lenders Forum is constituted at SMA2 stage, if I am not wrong, special mention account 2 stage, because loan becomes NPA if it is not paid more than 90 days, but stress is evident before that. So, within 61 days to 90 days, it is classified as SMA2 or special mention account 2. So, joint lenders forum is to be constituted when it shows early signs of distress or SMA2 stage. Please check this. If I am not wrong, it is correct. SMA2 stage or 61 days to 90 days, during that period, the constitution of joint lenders forum to look at the distressed company at the first instance before it becomes NPA. right. So, this is correct. Constitution of Joint Lenders Forum is part of the action plan to look at the company showing early signs of distress. 5/25 scheme, this was also unveiled by Reserve Bank of India. 5/25 scheme pertains to loans given to the infrastructure and core industries in the banking sector. What is the meaning of 5/25 scheme? Banks can give loans up to longer duration of 20 to 25 years, but subsequently they can come out of it after 5 years by selling this loan to some other bank or firm. So, this is known as 5/25 scheme, right. These three are very, very important from examination perspective. Look at the following sentences with regard to Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. These are meant for non-farm activities, very important. Mudra Yojana loans are meant for non-farm activities with focus on micro and small enterprises. The focus is micro and small, but not medium. So, non-farm activities, that is important. Second one is micro and small, this is important. They are applicable for fund based support as well as non-fund based support also. Fund based support means directly giving the loan, non-fund based support is giving a guarantee. So, these loans are applicable for fund based as well as non-fund based, and credit needs up to 10 lakh will be taken care of in Mudra Yojana. Second one is wrong, 1 and 3 correct. Please correct this. These are applicable for fund based as well as non-fund based support. Open market operations is the term quite frequently in the news. What is the appropriate meaning of OMOs? OMOs is the monetary measure undertaken by the central banks. Open market operations are the, or you can say this is the monetary measure undertaken by the central banks to look at the circulation of money in the system. So, it is the monetary measure to regulate quantum of money in circulation. When quantum of money is to be increased, it will purchase government securities. When quantum of money is to be reduced, it will sell government securities. So, this is the mechanism undertaken by the central banks. So, C is the right option. Look at the following: NSDL, CDSL, CCIL. Which of the above are known as depositories? If you are opening Demat account, you want to invest in shares, then you open Demat account with SBI. Let us assume SBI is known as depository participant. SBI or ICICI Bank are known as depository participants, whereas these accounts are maintained with NSDL or CDSL. So, NSDL or CDSL, these two are known as depositories. It maintains the entire accounts of this Demat accounts, tradable accounts. All these accounts are maintained with NSDL, CDSL, and banks will act as intermediaries only. So, here NSDL and CDSL are examples of depositories, and CCIL is not a depository. What is CCIL? Clearing Corporation of India Limited. This Clearing Corporation of India Limited looks at clearing various foreign exchange transactions, various call money transactions, various government securities transactions, and the clearance is taken care by CCIL. And please do not forget, NSDL, CDSL are depositories, whereas banks like ICICI Bank, SBI are known as depository participants, or you can say they are only mediatories, right. So, here 1 and 2 is correct. Then frequently we hear about disinvestment. Disinvestment can take place two ways: minority stake sale or strategic sale. And here look at the following sentences: selling minority stake sale is to unlock the value of central public sector enterprises for the benefit of the nation. So, sell 5% stake, you will get some money, and that money can be used for building the nation or benefit of the nation, and here responsibility and accountability will also increase for public sector enterprises, because here in the public sector enterprises, when part of the stake is sold, then responsibility will increase. Somebody will be there to question the public sector enterprise. Then Niti Aayog is vested with the powers to identify public sector enterprises for strategic sale. Strategic sale means government will come out of majority control. So, government will totally come out, or government can be minority stakeholder. That is the meaning of strategic sale. So, Niti Aayog is vested with powers to identify CPSEs for strategic sale. And at the same time, Department of Investment and Public Asset Management, or DIPAM, which is under the Ministry of Finance, it is the nodal department to look at disinvestment. So, all three correct. Next one, advanced pricing agreements. I talked to you several times. Advanced pricing agreements determine the transfer pricing methodology in advance between the related entities or between parent company and subsidiary. That means among the related companies, the pricing mechanism will be decided in advance with the tax department, that is known as advance pricing agreement. The basic reason is to eliminate future litigation. So, advance pricing agreements determine the transfer pricing methodology and taxation rate on international transactions. Absolutely correct. Then transfer pricing relates to transactions among the units of a company. Right, these two words very, very important, advance pricing agreement and transfer pricing. What exactly you understand by these terms? Which of the following is considered to be weak information? Weak information is single proprietorship firm, partnership firm. These are weak information, and if they are constituted as a private limited company, public limited company, their corporate structure will be much higher plane. And limited liability partnership, this is another mechanism where the traits of partnership firms and limited companies will be merged. So, by combining the traits of partnership firms and limited companies or private limited companies, by combining the traits, you have to say the combining the traits of private limited company, you have to call private limited company. Please understand, combining the traits of private limited company as well as the partnership firm, then you will get this limited liability partnership. So, here single proprietorship is the weakest. Naropa festival, Jammu and Kashmir, Naropa festival, this is the festival pertaining to Buddhists. It is once in 12 years and this is celebrated in Jammu and Kashmir. Second one is Solong festival, this belongs to Arunachal Pradesh, famous for Adi tribe, please do not forget Adi tribe. Losar festival, it is a Tibetan Buddhist festival, and Tawang is famous for a Losar festival. So, Manipur is wrong. So, 1 and 2 correct. Then the next one is investor state dispute settlement provision is into the news quite often. This is also very important when you look at examination perspective. So, investor state dispute settlement or ISDS mechanism is, it allows the foreign investors to drag the governments to the courts internationally if they feel that domestic policy is discriminatory and hurting their business interests. Now, bilateral agreements, agreements with India, because bilateral investment agreements, government recently terminated several agreements. Now, government is in the process of having this bilateral investment agreements with various countries. but this ISDS provision, what the foreign countries want? Foreign countries want, if there is any discrimination or if there is any dispute, they want Indian government to be dragged to international arbitration, but India wants, please wait for some time, either 5 years or so, please look at the domestic options before going for international arbitration. So, that is not acceptable to the foreign countries. That is why this bilateral investment treaties are becoming contentious or becoming controversial nowadays. Right? This is one important question from examination perspective. Bilateral investment treaties, why they are struck up? Because foreign investors or foreign countries want international arbitration without looking at domestic mechanism, because they are not satisfied with our judiciary, to be very frank. But India says, please wait for 4 or 5 years before dragging us to the international arbitration. So, anyhow, meaning of ISDS is this, and this is quite often into the news. Which of the following is meant for expanding telecom services in rural and remote areas at affordable and reasonable prices? Universal Service Obligation Fund. This was created for expansion of telecom services to rural areas, right? So, this is all about today's questions discussion and our first revision session basically on geography, and this session most of the questions are on economy, and gradually we will enter into other aspects, and this will continue up to 30. So, 30 sessions will continue. Please join and you will have lot of knowledge, whether you are appearing for civil services, group 1, it does not matter. Right friends, have a nice day. Thank you.